What's going on, guys? This is Geshav and you're watching another episode of Revolution Hive. And actually, I've been feeling kind of depressed lately. I've been feeling like the spirit that I had, the energy that I had, has slowly started to drain. And like I was so motivated before towards everything that I'd been building, and I've had so many successes after successes. And I kind of just feel like I don't have that charge, that spark anymore. And I wanted to talk to you about relationships. Do you ever feel like you were with somebody, or you had a relationship, there was somebody that you just clicked with, and at the beginning it was amazing. You were texting all the time, you're spending time together, you couldn't wait to speak to that person, and you could see that same enthusiasm coming from them. And it was all great. And then somewhere along the line, it just disappeared. And things started to go a bit awry, and it started to spill over, and it started to affect you. And I kind of feel like I gave everything to this person. I put myself on the line. I showed tremendous courage. And yet, it wasn't reciprocated. And I didn't get what I deserved. I didn't get what I needed. And yet I gave everything. I put every effort in to be the best person in that relationship. And I was hurt. And I went through pain. And it was difficult to be happy, to be in the moment, to enjoy what I was doing. And I watched as that other person was happy in what they're doing and carefree, and it seemed like I didn't matter anymore, and I felt this insignificant and this small. So if you're going through a breakup, if you're going through a tough time where you're experiencing loss of that kind, I wanted to make a video for you today about how do you deal with that? What are some of the things that help? So the first thing that I would say to you is, now is the time for you to invest in yourself. And I want to show you real empathy, because as much as people can say things to you and give you the right answers and tell you what to do, you can't express and you can't run away from what you're feeling. You can't control exactly how you feel. It's not a switch that you can just turn off. But that pain, that hurt, that betrayal, that disappointment, whatever it is, I want you to take that energy and start investing in you, in yourself. And it's time to create something stronger, something better, version 2.0. And when I say invest in yourself, I'm saying take the energy, take that pain and produce something. Pain can either consume you or it can fuel you. It can either be a fuel or a fire. And I want you to use it as a fuel. Strength is not measured about how much you can lift, but how much force you can expunge, but how much you can endure, and how fast you can recover. You're a biological being and you will grow. You will grow from this experience. You will learn from this experience. And whilst you might feel bruised and hurt right now, it won't be like that forever. And now is the time to use that as motivation to get in the gym and have the body you wanted, to start meditating and feel more calm and balanced in your mind, to start reading books and educating yourself, to go out and have adventures and travel the world and see different things and meet new people and have intellectual, interesting conversations. So I want you to think about and write this down. My question to you is, how can I use this as fuel to invest in myself? What can I do? What books can I read? Who can I speak to that will inspire me again? And the second thing that I want to share with you is, and people always say this, and that's a big generalization, but it's the classic bit of advice that we hear in self-help. Think positive. Think positive and you will attract positive things. And a lot of people, some of you might have seen The Secret and thought about affirmations and attracting positive energy towards you. No, I don't want you to take that. It's misleading, because don't think positive. I want you to take positive action. Because here's the thing, when you're trying to change the way that you think, and if you're in a negative cycle, it's very difficult to change things at the thought level. But what you can do is change it at an active level. You've got thought, word, and deed. And if you change something at the deed level, if you do something more positive, if you take positive action, your word will change, so your speech patterns will change, and so your thought patterns will change. So I'll ask you a simple question. What can you do in the next 24 hours or the next week that will make you smile again? So for me, I know whenever I'm around young children, little kids who just play and just mess around and go like this and do whatever they want, it makes me smile, and I feel like a kid again too. And I know that it's guaranteed I'll smile. So what is that thing for you? Go skydiving. Go and buy a single ticket to somewhere, a one-way ticket to somewhere, maybe to a next city or to another country or to your friend's house, wherever it is. Go and do something positive. Go volunteer. So don't think positive, take positive action. And how I did that, I was talking about this pain being either your fuel or your fire. When I was at university and I went through that difficult time, that difficult experience, the first half of my degree, I took that pain and I decided, I want to go surfing. And I went surfing in Newquay, and we spent time, we went on a mad minibus journey, and I got to see some amazing northern lights in the sky. I got to learn how to surf, I got to meet interesting people, I got to dress as a vampire and walk around Newquay, and I had so much fun. So don't let it consume you, let it push you into more positive experiences. And you have to tell life that, I know you've been through every other person, but you ain't dealt with me before. That this experience will not break me, it will make me. So again, I say to you, don't think positive, take some positive action. So what could you do that will make you smile? Something small, something big, whatever it is. Get it down on paper. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is something that I'm sure we're all guilty of, and that is, don't just retreat into silence. Don't just retreat into loneliness. You can go into solitude. Solitude is different. Solitude is being okay with your own company. And that could be going for a walk in the park and listening to the sounds of nature. That I can hear birds tweeting. I can hear the wind. I can hear cars on the motorway behind me. And being present in that moment. But loneliness, locking yourself away in your room and being on your own, it's not going to help. So don't depress those emotions, express them. So that could be writing it down, creating a blog about your feelings, creating voice notes to yourself, talking to your friends. And that's a really important thing, is having that ecosystem. They call it a friend circle because not everybody's supposed to be in it. And that's why you've gone through this experience. Not everybody's meant to be in that circle for you. And sometimes the people you love are not meant to be in your life, but just in your heart. And that could be the case here, but don't isolate yourself. We are social creatures as human beings. And when we talk, we are literally releasing endorphins that help you to feel better. And the worst thing that you can do is push it away and depress it. Because it's like, I've made a video before about this, I'll link it over here. It's like a bag of potatoes that you carry around with you everywhere you go. And you carry those problems when you're going to work, you're going to the gym, you're going to school, to college, to your lectures, you're going on nights out, whatever you're doing, and you're carrying it around, this added weight, and it starts to weigh you down. But also those potatoes, those things that you carry around, they start to mold and decay. And you're creating that in your physiology, literally, by having that feeling in your stomach or your chest, that tightness. I know, because I felt it too. The next thing is let go totally. Emotional decisions, when you're more emotional, it decreases your ability to reason. The more emotional you get, the more your reasoning power decreases. So I say to you, let go totally. So if it's a relationship with a particular person, you need to cut yourself off for at least 66 days. because it takes you 66 days statistically to form a new habit, not 21 like a lot of people think. So when I say let go totally, that might mean different things to you. For me, it might mean cutting somebody out totally. For you, it might mean just not speaking to them and keeping yourself away from that person for a little while. And it might not be forever. It could be like a circle that at one time you're as far apart, you're as poles apart, but everything moves in cycles, and there might be a time where you come around again and you're at the same page. But for right now, as you're going through this experience, which is happening for you, I say to you, let go totally. Cut that communication so you can be in your own thought, in your own silence, and you can have clarity of mind so that you can start investing in yourself and showing kindness and compassion to yourself, because that is what you need. And the only solution that is out there for you is looking you right back in the mirror. It doesn't exist in another person or another experience or another thing, but it's you. You know yourself better than anybody on this planet. And that's the other thing I want to say to you, is don't let your ego get to a point where nobody's ever been cheated on before. Nobody's ever been in a breakup before. Nobody's ever been in this situation before. Only I know this hurt. No. Think about the thousands of years of history that this civilization has been through. 7.5 billion people on this planet. And you're telling me one person hasn't felt what you felt? Of course they have, and that's why I say don't just isolate yourself, but let go totally and start to rebuild and invest in yourself. And that pain can be a fuel or it can be a fire. Don't let it consume you, let it push you. Let it push you into becoming even better, even stronger. So use this experience to look at this garden of your life and look at who are the weeds? Who am I associating in my environment? And based on where I want to get to, who I really want to be, because I want to be the best engineer, I want to be the best lawyer, I want to be the best public speaker, I want to be the best at whatever it is you want to do, whoever you want to be. How can you improve? And take a look at that. And part of that is about exercise. That when you exercise, you are literally depleting your cortisol levels. And cortisol, it acts as an inductor between your neurotransmitters in your brain. So when you're thinking negatively, you're stressed out, your cortisol levels are rising and rising, but exercise starts to deplete them. So you're able to think more and access literally more of your brain, because those brain cells can connect together and you're connecting different parts of your brain. So you're able to think more positively. The other thing is just going and running, just go out to the park and run as fast as you can. You don't need to have a plan, just go for a walk, keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. Walk it all out, take your mind for a walk. Go to the gym and hit those weights, start boxing and hit that punch bag. Use that pain and turn it into something. Transmute that energy and start doing something. Because you can't control that input and how you're feeling, but what you can control is how you respond. And that's what I'm saying to you is, this does not have to break you. It can create something new. And the last thing that I want to leave you with is, how has this experience benefited you? You going through this process, what does it give you? What learning has come out of this? For me, all those years ago when I went through that experience, it took things away from me that were average from my belief system. It took people, literally, not just one individual, but groups of friends that I had, where I had to look at my life and be like, are these people helping me to thrive, or are they helping me to stay comfortable? Are they helping me to think critically? If I hadn't been through a process of a really bad breakup over and over again, if I hadn't been betrayed, if I hadn't been cheated on in the way that I was, I never, ever, ever would have had to work on myself. I never would have gone meditating so I could deconstruct the anger. I never would have applied for student elections and met so many incredible people. I never would have even came up with the name Revolution Hive. And to me, that's gold. Like, I'm so grateful for that experience, because it forced me to dig so deep into myself that I found some real gems. I found some new depths, some new layers of who Keshav Bhatt was, and I surprised myself. I sat down and wrote a 5-year plan. I wrote that video that I've made about where do you want to be in 5 years. I went and did that. I read a book. I never would have picked that book up in King's Cross Station, Change Your Life with NLP. if I hadn't been through that experience. Those are some of the benefits that I had, and that's just the beginning. There was a whole trajectory of stuff. I went to Botswana, Bangladesh, Slovakia, Poland, Sudan. I started making YouTube videos. I did a TED talk. I became a coach. I'm here making this video right now and talking to you. All these benefits happened because life punched me in the face, and I took that punch, and it might have dropped me down to the ground, and I might have been stunned for a little while, but I started fighting back. And that experience created new strength that grew out of that weakness. So again, I ask you, how has this experience that you are going through right now benefited you? What are you learning? Even at the surface level, I never would have got a new haircut if I hadn't been through that experience. I never would have gone to the gym and started to gain muscle mass. There are so many benefits, but you just gotta look for them. Like I said, you can't control the input. You can't exactly control, it's not a switch where you can turn your emotions off. I know that. But what you can control is how you respond to those emotions. And listen, be kind to yourself. Give yourself some compassion. Because right now you need to take care of yourself, and nobody else can do that for you. And understand that, if you're going through that feeling, and I know that feeling, it hurts, I know, I understand. But it will come in waves. I know this from seeing other people, from going through it myself, that there may be a time where you feel like you're stood there and you're just in shock, and it's just hitting you. You're being buffeted over and over again by this experience, by these feelings that are just draining you. I don't feel like doing anything. And in those times, sometimes it's just about enduring and keeping still. Observe your thoughts. Observe how you're feeling and what's happening, and notice it. And notice it will arise and it will pass. It will arise and it will pass. And those gaps between those feelings that you don't want, they'll get less intense over time, and they'll get further and further apart. But this is a process. And whilst you're going through that process, you might as well use that energy, that intense emotion you're feeling, and start running towards something or running away from something. Because pain can be a really good motivator as well. And I want to just end on this quote that I saw on Instagram. If I can unlock my phone. It goes like this. For a star to be born, there is one thing that must happen. A gaseous nebula must collapse. So collapse. Crumble. This is not your destruction. This is your birth. This is not your destruction, this is your birth. And what you are now born into, or what you are destroyed into, an angel or a demon, it really is down to you, how you respond to the situation, to the cards that life has dealt you. And I say this to you every single time, and I repeat it again. Just like a bumblebee goes out and gathers pollen from all these different flowers, taking different things, absorb what you find useful through this process. Discard what isn't useful for you, that's not helping you to thrive, that's keeping you to cope, it's keeping you at a coping level. And then add what is uniquely and truly your own. Because when you're being pushed and pushed and pushed, it's like a drawstring on a bow and arrow that you're being pushed backwards and backwards and backwards, but guess what? It's only setting you up for a comeback, and you're gonna go even further now. That's not a given. You can go even further. Everybody can turn a setback into a comeback, but not everybody will. And whether you do or not, it's your choice, it's your decision. So ask yourself those questions. Write it down, express yourself. Get out there, just smile. Focus on doing the simple things. Start healing once again. And ask yourself that question, like I said. How has this experience benefited you and your character? I had a client that I worked with about 6 to 9 months ago, and she went through a really tough breakup. Somebody she'd been with for such a long time, since she was 15 or 16. We're talking a 5 or 6 year relationship. And it ended, and there were tears, there was pain, and it took a long time for her to get to a place where she'd found acceptance. But if you look at her now, at the age of 19, she's going to become a TEDx speaker. She's a spoken word artist. She's running in her student elections. She's getting a first at university. She's killing her degree. She's going to go abroad this summer. And she's the most incredible, inspiring, passionate woman. And that pain didn't consume her. It made version 2.0. So get out there and start living, start smiling, and start breathing deep and experiencing life again. Peace.